Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And salutations to you sincere Akima that are pushing this gospel in righteousness and sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, so I was watching, the video by the other brother, Mawana Ibad, and it's something just he said jumped out to me. Okay, so he said the man damaged the seed line, which of course is 100% a math, the truth. That's the bloodline or the seed line of who you are as a person and which nation you belongs to. No argument there. The scriptures go all into that, and even Esau's false science even proves that. I know here in the eastern part of the world, this is barely disputed. Everybody knows that. All right, but when you go up to the west, to these European nations where he has basically used this his false these false philosophies to seduce all the people that live within these areas. That's when you see actual pushback against this doctrine. And what this shows, or what this means, is that the fact that the seed, I know the word, that word, seed, going back to semen, which of course is the sperm. And I think I have it queued up right here. Okay, here it is. So the seed, that which may be sown, an individual grain of seed, offspring, posterity, seed, and of course going into meaning semen. Okay, and that is at the bottom, meaning offspring or progeny. We are now accepting biblical use, meaning semen. So the words, the seed can either mean either your sperm or your children, which is why we always talk about how the man is the one that actually sows the seed. Okay, which of course goes back to the word, which of course the reason why the man will be called the husband. And now look at that word up, the husband meaning the planter, and he plants what, this seed. In other words, he plants the children into the woman. But as I was saying, this fact proves that first and foremost, there is no such thing as this confusion, such as mixed race, okay, or half siblings. When you marry, when your parents, remarry, you talk about you having a half brother or a half sister. That's not the case. That's just simply confusion. There's no half, there's no halfway there. There's no mixture there, okay, because you can only be siblings if you have the same father, because you see, because the mother is simply a house for the living sperm or the seed which your father carries, and thus it goes into those ovaries and develops there, which is why a man can have multiple women, deliver him multiple children, and they are all full, okay, brethren. They are all brothers. And case in point, the tribes, all 12 tribes coming from two different women. Salakia, I meant all 12 tribes coming from four different women, Salakia, two of which were slaves. But nowhere did you see the children of Leah or the children of Rachel, magnify themselves or look down on or say that the children of Bilhah or Zilpah were not their brothers because they came from a different woman, and vice versa. Because the women don't actually matter in this case, okay? They only deliver the children, but the children are the man's, okay? And that is now another, that's now another point of confusion right there, when he gives over the hands over the children to the women, like they were her property to begin with. But in all actuality, okay, the children actually belong to the men, okay. So now if a man has just like so now if a woman, if vice versa, a woman has two children from two different men, that's two different family lines in her, and they are not siblings, okay. So I hope I cleared up that situation, if anybody was confused about that. Now on to this mixed race folly. Now this one right here, this shows you that, man, we are truly in Babylon, the city of confusion. And going back to, let me get that in the scriptures. I have to go to the blue letter, so like, yeah. Okay, here it is, blue letter. Going back to the actual Hebrew word, and I'll use I believe that is the book of Isaiah 14, the 14th chapter. That's what I'll use. So Isaiah the 14th chapter, the fourth verse. And I don't really need to use a specific precepts. If I prefer to use this one, to get go into the meaning of the word, Babylon. All right, so here it is Babylon, which goes back to the word Babal. And what it means is confusion by mixing. Okay, so they're not simply right there. Babylon means confusion. That's why this current kingdom is called that confusion. Okay, that's why this current kingdom is called the kingdom of Babylon, because it is the kingdom of confusion. It is the kingdom that has skewed, I should say, or that has completely warped so many. So can it is the kingdom that has warped so many beliefs, so many established doctrines, things that were common knowledge now, in the past, the things that were common knowledge since ancient times. It has become confused, completely confused in this kingdom. Okay, so this is what this kingdom represents, this confusion right here, because what you have is majority of the people in this kingdom, they take pride in being mixed race. Okay, you see people take DNA tests, which is all nonsense, by the way, talking about, oh, I'm 34% this, 1% that, I'm 33% this, this, I have a little bit of this in me, and that's in me. And when in all actuality, you are 100% whatever your father is. And this is a joke, man, being all puffed up in not understanding how simple biology works. Okay, there is no such thing as mixed race. There's no such thing as a mixed race person. And as there's no such thing as mixed race, especially a mixed race person. But let's quickly check this out first. Let's go into that, because I'm going to bring out definition for a lot of words here. Okay, that's it. Okay, here it is race. Okay, so this is race right here. The word race goes back to, and let me just go down to that. Raza. Okay, the second part. Okay, so let's see. Raza. No, that's not it. Okay, here it is. So race, people descended from a common ancestor, class of persons allied by common ancestry. From Middle French race, earlier raza, race, breed, lineage, family. Possibly from Italian raza, which is of unknown origin. Okay, so basically what that race means is your nation. It goes back to where you come from. Who you are descended from. So now, I know it's funny because the apostles mentioned this, and they also did a lot of videos going into the meaning of words. All right, and it's too funny because people parrot words without fully understanding. Hey, and the apostle Go actually talks about that. The 5 levels of understanding, and it said in the previous video. I guess that's probably where the influence of talking of speaking about this came from. How he said that people parrot words without fully understanding the meaning. And now once again, you show how much of a confused. Now that actually reminds me, thinking about it now, the word confused, and that actually is probably why the bullet actually. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that. See, it's right here. Babylon, confusion by mixing. That's probably why the bullet actually added this part in parentheses or brackets, because it understands that the word confusion actually goes back to, is a compound word with mixing. Corn being with, and fusion meaning mixing. So first of all, first of all, so okay, let me jump to a word. Here it is, identity. Okay, let me just keep this queued up because I actually have something to say before I actually go into this. Because anytime you talk about these falsely prescribed racial narratives, almost like clockwork, you have the genders and the sexualities popping up, creating even more confusion, because now you have alphabet people. Okay, they are trying to make themselves a veritable, and the word veritable means, okay, to hold truth, and by that way, to hold truth. But anyway, they use this term identity. Okay, which, and let me go into the word identity. Sameness. This is the definition of identity right now. It goes back to the word idem or idem. I don't know how to pronounce that, but basically sameness, oneness, being a state of being the same. That's all identity means. That's why you have things like identical twins. Okay, that's why you have things like um So like I can't remember the second example I wanted to bring out. Okay, identical twins. Anyway, let me just keep going on. And so you have this. You have in this world people identifying themselves by color, and the wrong color, by the way. Okay, gender, sexuality, which going into the scripture tells you all you need to know about that madness. Okay, and not by their nationality. In other words, by their seed lines, and all these things have been severed by this devil, leaving only these identities. Okay, which is falsehood, which is folly, by the way. And now you see these people put so much stock into these things, and they take pride in it. Which is why the title of this lesson would be that what um folly, the confusion, the folly of confusion is put in such a high level, set in such a great dignity, set in such great dignity. Okay, so let me get some precepts, and the first one I'll go to is that precept right there, where it talks about folly being set in great dignity. That is it's okay, Ecclesiastes 10. Okay, it is Ecclesiastes 10, the sixth chapter. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. And that is plain right there, because this kingdom, look at what it's pushing. Look at all the things that this kingdom promotes. Okay, this kingdom doesn't promote you talking about how, if you go out there telling people that you are of your that you are your father's son, or your father's daughter, you are of your father's bloodline, of your father's seed line. You're going to to basically, people are going to basically do what's what I'm looking for. They're going to condemn you, drag you online, and all that. But if you now in turn talk about how you are your mother's son, and your mother's this and that, you see, especially with Jake, see how much how much how high, how much regard they put on their mothers. And but in all actuality, it is your father, okay, that made you who you are. It's your father that is your progenitor. It's your father that brought you into this earth. Okay, it's your father that gave you your nationality, and whatever attribute you have. Even your inherit, even the riches that you may gain, your inheritance and all that, it is from your father as well. Okay, so let me go to my next precept in the book of Ezekiel from verse 13, and that's 22nd chapter, and it reads, Ezekiel 13 verse 22. Because with lies ye have made the hearts of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked way, by promising him life. And that's what he does in this kingdom. Okay, it tells you that you can live a certain kind of lifestyle. You can live this kind of lifestyle. You can continue on in this kind of belief. Go to school and learn about these different races that aren't even actual races. It goes to learning about these all these doctrines, all these philosophies that are not legitimate philosophies, that are not alright, that are not what that hold that can basically hold no water. All these broken system philosophies, let's put it like that, they can hold no water. In other words, they hold no truth. Okay, and it takes spends all the time teaching you about it, and all these people that accept it, with arms spread out wholeheartedly. They are what they are, set up in a hierarchy, and the righteous, the true men that have the true understanding. When we bring out these facts, that's not how race works. Okay, that's not how gender works. Okay, that's not how sexuality works. People are going off, people are confused. This is not what you are supposed to be doing. We are condemned, we are talking about being hateful, but in all actuality, we're not being hateful, we're just bringing out the truth. Going into I believe that is I want to see Philippians 4:13, but I know that's not the exact precept, so let me just type it in. Then it talks about, am I therefore your enemy? Am I therefore, okay, Galatians 4:16. Yeah, so this is the book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 16. Let me get this up there. Galatians 4 verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And it shows you how confused people are in this kingdom. When they fight against the truth wholeheartedly, they reject it with all their minds and bodies and souls. But all that is about to change, soon coming. And these current things that are happening upon the earth are ample proof for that. So this is the book of Romans chapter 9, and I'll start from verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh Hamashiach came, who is over all, Most High, blessed forever. Amen. And this is most likely the reason why Esau has confused the seed line so much with all these false philosophies, because he understands that true race, true nationality comes from your fathers, which is why what I was going into before. As is your fathers that give you everything. Even your eventual inheritance, it still comes from your fathers. This, they have that seed line, and you are only an Israelite. Okay, you are only who you are because that is who your father is. So everything you are, your race, your nationality, goes back to your father, which is why the scriptures go all into searching the old parts, going back the old way, going into the past, because you have to understand who your fathers are, where your pedigree comes from. That word pedigree goes into, let me just quickly get it in a bullet because I've actually forgotten how it's like I meant the team. I've actually forgotten, what it goes into. Yeah, here it is, pedigree, genealogical table or chart, which is basically yeah, which is basically that's what it is. It is what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, your family tree. Starting from your only going into your fathers, which is why when then you talk about who. Let me talk about the family tree of Yahweh, and you see that the only speaks about the fathers from Adam all the way down to his father Joseph. Okay, so this is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of of their fathers. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end it there. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit, W Akyam, you Akwath were edified. Shalom.